Hello and welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Introverted Nerd Watches. I am your host, Reese. And for this episode, I watched season 4, episode 14 of Saved by the Bell, Wicked Stepbrother, part 2. I'm back for the second part of the Wicked Stepbrother. I'm so sorry. I feel like I do this in every Saved by the Bell episode now. I come back and I apologize for having episodes late and shit like that. But I am. I've just been really busy. And I'm trying to get my schedule together. I thought that I would have it back together. But, you know, sometimes shit works out this way. I don't know. I'm trying to get it's September 1st or 2nd or something like that. It's September. So I'm trying to get back on track. And I'm hoping that now, you know, that I can like schedule everything. I've been really bad about scheduling and all that stuff. So I'm so bad. I'm slapping myself on the wrist for being so bad. I'm doing a Dobby for being a bad person. And so I'm sorry. Forgive me. And you know, I'm going to continue with this. I'm actually making plans for the next show that I'm going to cover for my rewatch because Saved by the Bell is almost over. So I am picking out shows that I want to rewatch to see, you know, what's going to happen. But nobody cares about that right now. It is all about Saved by the Bell. I don't want to push this along. I love this show. So, before we get into the episode, you need to subscribe to the podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio. I am there wherever you need me to be. So go subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave me a 5-star review. And if you can't leave me a 5-star review, because I don't know how the rating system on all those other things, like on Stitcher, I know that you can rate podcasts, but it's a whole thing. But I haven't checked that in a long time. Ooh, sorry. But while you're rating and reviewing the podcast, recommend me to other people. Spread the word. Spread my good word. You know, bring them to the Church of Reese, and you know, everybody will be happy. So let's do this. The end of the last episode, Lisa and Eric, that douchebag, were coming back from their date, and Zach and Slater and Screech set them up, or they were trying to set Eric up, but Lisa was driving the car and she crashed, and somehow she crashed into bushes and like almost totaled the car. You have Slater checking out the car, and he somehow, like, Slater is just like, he's like a car savant or something like that. He can just look at cars and tell you like how much the estimated damage is, because he looks at this car and he's like, the estimated damage is $600. And it's like, wait, what? Like, this was a, it was a brand new car, at least according to Mr. Belding. I'm going to trust him this time and say this was a brand new car. It was a, I don't know what, it didn't say what kind of car it was, but it was like a nice little cherry red convertible car. It was like, you know, it was an okay car. I don't know shit about cars, but whatever. It seemed like a cute car, and it was brand fucking new. And he is like, you know, Zach, it's going to be $600. And I'm like, how do you know that? How do you know how much car parts cost for this car? Like, I just got my car inspected for the yearly inspection. And the mechanic guy was telling me that my car, my little Hyundai Elantra, needed like a special part, and it was like, it was a lot of money. And I'm like, So how do you, Slater, look at this car and just assess all the damage? Whatever. He's a savant. He's a genius, a car genius. He knows everything. So, and there's this joke where they're trying to figure out how to get the money. And I don't know why none of them think, let me go to my rich parents to see if they'll give me a few dollars. But nobody thinks of that. But they make a joke that says, Zach says maybe they should sell Screech to Exxon. And Slater says they never take a geek that won't squeak. And I don't get it. Like, was that a reference to something that happened in the early 90s? Like a geek that won't squeak. I don't get it. Maybe I'm just a dummy. That's always possible. But I don't think so. It was just, and the audience laughed. Slater's like, they never take a geek that won't squeak. And the audience laughed like, and I'm like, what the hell? What does that even mean? I still don't know what that means. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it was just whatever. So what did so the plan, since they can't come up with anything, they decide to sell raffle tickets, which they decide to create a lottery. And so all of the students buy raffle tickets, but I don't know how the students don't know what they're buying raffle tickets for. Is it just like a thing where you're at school and it's like, oh, raffle tickets for sale. Let me buy something and maybe I'll win. But I can't believe that every kid, like they were in the hallway selling these raffle tickets and the kids were going crazy. Like they were giving something like really good away and not just a fucking raffle ticket, but whatever. That's the plan. The plan is to sell raffle tickets and to rig the lottery so that Screech wins the lottery and then they get to keep all the money. Like Screech wins all the money and then they, use the money to fix up the car because it's going to be exactly $600. It cannot be any more than $600 or they are fucked. So while all that's going on, Lisa, they got back from, they went to Casablanca the last episode. And so Lisa and, what's his name? Eric. And so Lisa is all like really into Eric. She's talking to Jesse about it. And you can tell that Lisa kind of feels bad because, I don't know, she's a nice person, but I mean, she knows how big a dick Eric is, so I don't know why she feels bad for playing this guy, but whatever. We're going to pretend that she really likes him and that I'm going to get on board with this because whatever. This is the only guy that Lisa gets that's like really truly into her, like that looks at her like the goddess that she is. So, I mean, and he's a dick and I hate that, but he like, besides Screech, like Screech is gross and disgusting and I hate him and I want him to die. I don't like Eric that much more than I like Screech, but I like him a little bit more. Whatever. This is all my personal problems. Let me keep on moving. So Eric walks in to the Max with them and Lisa invites him to see MC Hammer. And the first thing I was like, he was excited. And that's the first thing I was like, bullshit. No. A guy that in the last episode was talking about how he loves older movies like Casablanca because they don't make good movies anymore. He's like a 90-year-old man talking about how they don't make good movies anymore. And this guy, this hipster New Yorker is excited to see MC Hammer. Bullshit. I'm calling so much bullshit on that. He was excited too. Like he was really excited to see MC Hammer. Okay, guy. Like he doesn't look like the type of guy. Like even if he wasn't like the Casablanca hipster dude, I would not believe that this guy was like into MC Hammer. He just doesn't look like the type. And it's not just because he's white, because I feel like MC Hammer had a huge white audience. But yeah, Eric just doesn't look like the type. He looks like Seinfeld to me, so I don't think that Seinfeld was into MC Hammer, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Seinfeld was like a huge Hammer fan back in the day. Oh, so I told you about the plan. The plan, they start doing it. They sell all the tickets. The kids are all excited about the selling of the ticket of buying these lottery tickets. And Mr. Belding shows up early and he wants to see the car, but Zach and Slater hold him off for a little bit because they lie. And Mr. Belding is the dumbest man in the world because they tell bad lies. Like, they're trying to improv the lies that they're telling, and they're really bad at it. So whatever. They're bad at it. Mr. Belding's a dummy, but they get away with it for a little while. So the plan for the drawing of the numbers is the math class. The Jewish teacher that took the time off in the last episode is back, and they decide he does a math problem at the beginning of every class. So they decide to rig it to they bring in a new box with the new math with the new math problems in it, and he picks one of those, and when he starts writing down the answer, everybody starts cheering, for the numbers that he's writing down, and he's really into it. But I'm like, okay, he probably usually has a max of about 20, 25 students, something like that. He has a classroom full of students. They're surrounding the classroom. They're standing up. It's like a fucking concert in there. And they're cheering when he writes down the answers. And he's a little, he's suspicious about it. He's asking about it. Why are all these students here? But he's getting all his information from Zach. And it's like, dude, how long have you been at this school? You don't know Zach Morris? You can't call out the Zach Morris bullshit. Oh, you suck. You're a bad teacher. So, it works out the way that they wanted to. Screech wins, but he's a dumbass. And I don't know whether Screech forgot that he was supposed to give the money to them to fix the car, or whether he's just a dummy and he just didn't get it, which I have a real problem with, because Screech is supposed to be a fucking genius. My dude built a robot. He built a robot, Kevin. And what happened to Kevin? That's his only friend. I wonder what happened to Kevin. Somebody put an APB out for Kevin. But they're in the boys' locker room after the the lottery drawing, and they're trying to get Screech to give them the money. But he's super sad about it. He's first of all, he's excited that he won the lottery, and it's dude, they told you earlier in the fucking episode that they were going to rig this lottery so that you would win. And second, he thinks he can spend. Oh, I'm so done with Screech. I hate him. I hate him so much. But he okay. I have a real everybody in this episode is a fucking dumbass. So Zach and Slater are throwing a lottery. All the kids in school know who Zach and Slater are. They know who they hang out with. They know that they know that these two only hang out with 4 or 5 other people. And Screech is one of those people. So the second Screech wins the goddamn lottery, everybody in that class should have stood up and said, no, 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 no. This is bullshit. This was rigged. You guys are cheating. I want my fucking money back. Because no way do the biggest schemer in school and his best friend throw a lottery, and their other pet friend wins, and nobody says anything. Nobody's suspicious at all. That's the problem I had. I was nobody is suspicious. Even if everybody didn't realize it, Not one person said, you know what, Zach? Something's going on here. I don't know what you did, but I want my dollar back. Like, give me my dollar back. Unfortunately, everybody in Bayside is just under the Zach spell. They don't ask. So while Zach, Screech, and Slater are in the, I don't know, it goes back and forth between the boys' locker room and the boys' bathroom. This time I think it was the bathroom because Eric was in the stall. While they're trying to get the money from Screech, Eric is in the stall and he hears everything that they say, and he gets it, and he's like, okay, if you guys don't give me, he wants to borrow the car again, because, and if they don't let him borrow the car, he's going to tell everybody that they scammed everybody out of their money. Or did he, I don't know, I forget whether he asked for the car or whether he asked for the money. Whichever, it doesn't matter. Whichever, he's trying to blackmail them again. And this is when Zach is like, I cracked up at this because I hate Eric. But Eric, no, I think it was the car, because Eric is like, yeah, I want to borrow this car. You fix the car and I want to borrow it again because I'm taking my girl on a date. And Zach just like straight up laughs at him like, your girl. Like, who are you talking about? He's like, you know what? I'm taking Lisa to the MC Hammer concert because I'm not too cool for that. I'm the coolest guy in this school and I'm taking this hot chick to an MC Hammer concert. And Zach is like, you dumbass. Ask Lisa where she got those MC Hammer concert tickets from. Like, she's not your girl. She's playing the shit out of you. Like, and Eric is like stunned. He's like, yeah, right, Zach. He thinks Zach is bullshitting him. And he turns to Slater. It's like, he's like, he's lying, right, Slater? And it's like, you blackmailed these two. Like, you've been like trying to ruin their lives. Why wouldn't they take pleasure in bringing your ass down a notch? But Slater laughs in his face too. And it's like, no, loser. You like, we played you. Lisa's playing you. And that warmed my heart a little bit because did I mention that I hate Eric? I fucking hate him. I hate his face. Like, I just hate his whole face. But Eric's feelings are really hurt. He apparently forgot that he's been a dick to everybody this whole time. And he runs up on Lisa and Jesse in the Max. And he confronts Lisa about, where she got the tickets from. And she's trying to lie, and she's trying to lie and say, she's not even trying to lie. She's just trying to, defend herself. But Eric does not want to hear that shit. And he's like, no, I'm done with you. Like, fuck you. I hate you, die or something like that. Whatever. Eric's, fifis are hurt. And he said whatever he said. And this is when my secondhand embarrassment kicked in, because Eric runs out. Jesse is like all appalled. Like, she wasn't just trying to, like, she didn't try to get her boyfriend to beat him up and like, just whatever, Jesse, shut up. And so Lisa starts crying and she's like, oh my God, I couldn't even watch it. I was like, oh my God, why don't I remember this? Like, I remember the breakup. I remember certain parts of this. Like, I remember her tricking Eric into going on a date with her. I remember that he broke up with her, but I didn't remember this part. So Lisa is crying, or trying to cry. Poor Log Voorhees. She's trying to cry, and she's telling Jesse, like, she's like hyperventilating a little bit, and she's trying to, it's like supposed to be a really dramatic moment. And she tells Jesse, I wanted to be with him, and I really starting to like him, and now he don't like me. And I just like I wish I took down the time of that moment in the episode. Just go to that part of the episode where, oh my god, it was just so, I'm like, so secondhand embarrassment. She can barely cry. She's like hyperventilating. Eric sucks, and I just, ugh, oh my god, oh, my poor Lisa. Um, it was, I was, I couldn't even keep a straight face though. I was laughing my ass off when she said, "Now he don't like me," with her not wet face from not crying. So Eric, I guess we're trying to pretend like Eric is the wronged party in all of this. So they're in shop class, and the car was in the shop class garage. And so somehow Screech is also in this shop class. Why is Screech in shop class? Whatever, Screech. So Eric and Screech are in this shop class, and Eric convinces the shop teacher that instead of doing whatever it is whatever they were going to do, to completely take the car apart, like everything apart, all the pieces laid on the ground, no more car. And so he convinces them of that. Zach and Slater come in, and they see the car completely taken apart. And Slater's all ready to fix the car. They bought their $600 piece, and Slater comes in, and Zach is like, "Well, can you put the car together?" And Slater's like, "You know what? I'm only one guy. I cannot do all of this by myself." Slater freaks out. He has like a mini freak out, in the max about this. He's like, I'm the captain of the football team, the wrestling team. I'm good looking." And he lists all of his like great qualities, and he can't put together a car. And Zach is fucked basically at this point. So we go to Jesse and Eric, or Jesse and Eric's house. Eric has just completely taken over Jesse's room at this point. She is oh my god. She knocks on the door to the bedroom, and I was like, "Oh, Eric went back to his bedroom." But no, I'm looking around. I'm like, because all of his like posters and shit are on the wall, and it's like, no, this is Jesse's bedroom. So this guy has taken over so completely that Jesse is knocking on the door to come in. Fuck that. I would have just been walking in and out. I wouldn't care whether he was undressed, like what was going on. I'm like, too bad, my guy. This is my room. I don't care. Like, he would have just been out of there. You talk to your mom. You tell your mom, she has to get her husband to get his fucking son out of my bedroom. Like, oh my God, Jesse. I just hate it. Just didn't make any sense to me. So, Jesse tries to talk to him about Lisa, but he's not having any of that. And he tells her about the car, about how he had the car taken apart. And, basically he's just like, fuck everybody, fuck you, fuck all your friends. I don't give a shit about any of y'all. And he's just really nonchalant about it. And this sets Jesse off. Because she was like, this is what sets her off. She's like, if I was a guy, like she starts like poking him in the chest, and she tells him, if I was a guy, I would knock you out. And he says, too bad you're just a chick. And this is what like really, she goes straight Marty McFly on him. Being called a chick is her trigger word. It sets her off. She punches him in the face. He falls over. He's all, like crying about his eye. And Jesse is like, you know what? I wanted a brother. I was so excited when I found out our parents were getting married the day before yesterday, and I was really happy when they said they were bringing you here. And you know what? You've done nothing but spit in my face, so fuck you. And it's like, I mean, this was all good. I like Eric getting like his comeuppance or whatever, but I'm like, Jesse, how old are you? You're like what, 16, 17, something like that. I'm sorry. At 16 or 17, you are not like eagerly anticipating a new step sibling. No. Like it doesn't work that way. And I'm glad they call it out later, because I was thinking like, did she think like, is this the fucking Brady Bunch? Like, who are you, Jesse? Like, why would you think that you were going to meet another teenager, and that you two were just going to immediately start calling each other siblings and, you know, have a sibling relationship? That's like not how this works. I had step siblings. I never talked to any of those motherfuckers. Like, who cares about them? I was an adult when I got step siblings, but you know, even if I was like 16, like I have one brother, and he and I it was questionable whether I wanted him around for a while. So I was definitely not looking for any step siblings. Get the fuck out of here with all that. But they Zach, Slater, and Screech are talking at the Max, and they for I don't know what happens, but something clicks in Zach's head, and they decide that they need to tell the truth because they were wrong. You know, Zach admits he was wrong for lying in the first place about being Jewish so he could take off a day of school. And they just all admit like they were wrong for starting this off. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, you guys suck. You're terrible. But Eric came in on 11. He sucked first. Like, he sucked the worst. He was the worst. He was awful. So this one time, I'm like kind of on Zach Morris's side. And I hate that. You know how much I hate it, but Eric sucks. He is the worst. But whatever. They all decide that they have to tell Mr. Belding the truth. And they take him to the garage where the car in a million pieces is. And they walk into that with their eyes covered like they're children, like they can't look at it. And when they take their hands off of their eyes, they see that everything is all put back together. And Mr. Belding is really excited. But I'm like, even if the car was completely still apart at that point when they got there, and Mr. Belding saw the car like just in pieces, Mr. Belding did the wrong thing. Like, this is one time where I'm like, you Slater and Zach are not getting in any trouble, because Mr. Belding like tried to enlist child labor to have Slater put it, like, he was just so inappropriate. Like, everything about him was inappropriate. He shouldn't have asked Slater to put that the CD player in his wife's car. Like, you bought a new fucking car, Mr. Belding. Spend another few $100s to get the CD player put in, or she won't have a fucking CD player. Like, I hate you, Mr. Belding. I hate when you make me have to side with these terrible people. But so it's all put together. Mr. Belding is happy, and they don't know how it got that way. They don't know how the car got fixed. And so Eric like slides out from under the car, his tiny little self. he slides out from under the car, and he's like, I fixed it. So this is the end of the episode, and we find out that Eric has been so successful at scheming and just ruining their lives because he's a mix of Zach and Slater. Like, he's a mix of their two best people. And maybe a little bit of Jesse. Like, he's kind of smart too. I don't know. You don't really get to see that. But so he put he tells them that he puts the car together, back together. So he put a car back together all by himself. Like, he's the better version of Zach and Slater. Like, he's just the best version of both of them, put together and to one tiny little person. But he's like really subdued at this point. He tells them that Jesse punched him in the eye, and he apologizes, and he tells them that he's moving back to New York, and he's going to live with his aunt because he just doesn't fit in with these LA people. And for some reason, Zach and Slater are like sad about this, and it's good riddance for me. I'm like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Go back to New York with your aunt. Take your little self and your Casablanca loving ass and go back to New York. But they're sad about it. And they go back there while Eric is packing his stuff in Jesse's bedroom. Everybody except Kelly. This was so weird because Slater, Jesse, Zach, Lisa, and Screech show up to try to convince Eric not to leave. But Kelly, the only person that has been like kind of defending Eric and on Eric's side the entire time, doesn't show up in this episode. So what were they thinking? Like, Kelly's the only one that was on his side the whole time, and she is nowhere to be seen. But they come in and they beg him to stay, like really beg him to stay. And, Zach is like, you keep me on my toes. Slater is like, like broy with him all of a sudden. Lisa walks up to him and she begs him. She literally begs him to stay. Like, please stay. I want to keep going out with you. I really like you. And she gives him, I want to say a kiss on the lips, but I'm not even sure their lips actually touch. It's like the barest of bare minimum, like touching. And the audience went wild. Like, these 12-year-old girls were... I was about to say something really inappropriate, but I had to catch myself. But these little girls were like really into this like feather kiss. Their lips just did not touch. I don't believe it. I have to rewatch it. I don't think their lips even touched. But this is what convinces him, and he says he'll stay. And he and Jesse hug. They hug it out. Everything's all great. We got a new member of the gang, but we'll never see him again. The Eric years, or the Eric days, are over. These are his only 2 episodes. We will never see this guy again. I don't even think he gets mentioned again. He is gone. Like, if he stayed, they would really have to depower him. Because, like I said, he's the best version of both Zach and Slater. So they would really have to depower him if they wanted to keep him on this show. But he sucked, and I'm glad he's gone, and I'm glad we will never see him again. Jesse does have another parent who will get married, but I don't think he marries a younger woman, so she doesn't have any kids, so she doesn't have anything else to worry about. So that's the end of the episode, you guys. No more Eric. Yay. Let's all cheer and take a big drink. I'm about to go take a drink, and go get something off the grill because that's the kind of weekend this is. So, what do I have coming up? I've got Fear the Walking Dead coming up. I don't know how many episodes I have left of this season, but I'm like, I can't wait for it to be over. I'm thinking I'm going to do an episode about all the shows that I have been watching. So just like a roundup of all the episodes that I've been watching. What else? another episode of Saved by the Bell. We're going to keep doing this. I'm going to be on schedule. I promise. I'm going to write this down in my Happy Planner. Everything is going to be just on track. I'm going to stay on track. So if you want to keep up with me, follow me all over the socials. I'm on Twitter at NerdTravertPod. Follow me there. Use the hashtag NerdyWatch so you can live tweet, and you can chat with me on there. That's always fun. You can follow my personal Twitter account at the Ms. Introvert. I'm on Instagram at The Introverted Nerd, and like the Facebook page at facebook.com/The Introverted Nerd. You can also send me feedback. Send it to theintrovertednerd@gmail.com. And if you want to listen to all of my back episodes, go to theintrovertednerd.com, and you can listen to Saved by the Bell episodes from the beginning. I did a whole season of Black Lightning reviews, a whole season of Cloak and Dagger reviews. So go to theintrovertednerd.com, listen to all that stuff, rate and review the podcast, and I will talk to you later, everybody. Bye.